Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. 0 dark 30 plus some. Boy, I'm trying to find internet reception before I can record these. Sometimes a little tricky here in the great state of Florida, but hey, we're back. It is 0 dark 30, and we're going to talk about what happened while we were sleeping. Well, get the dust out of our eyes, shake our heads a little bit, maybe have a sip of coffee, and let's get to it. While we were sleeping, and I'm not talking about you and me exactly. I'm talking about we, all of us, the rest of the world. They thought everything was fine. Rolling along, businesses going, we have gas, electricity, food. The government seems to be doing its job, well, as we can expect it to in a slipshod fashion. But, basically getting it done with the military and stuff like that, government stuff. Bureaucracy, administration, kind of fixing the roads, making sure they collect taxes really well. Yeah, that world. But that's not that's the cover, right? That's the cover of the magazine, the cover of the book. It's extra shiny. It's extra glossy. It looks pretty. It attracts attention. Everyone thinks that's what America is, the story on the cover, right? Well, like any book, once you get past the cover page, the cover story, and you start looking into the story, it's not what it seems. While everyone was asleep, satisfied that the story they were getting was genuine, was good, was nice, was perfect. That's how it is, man. I saw the cover, sheesh. No, it's not how it is, folks. It's dirty, it's gritty, it's grimy. Now, earlier this year, just a couple months ago, were you aware, right, that Mexico elected a new president? That's right, the old socialist president stepped aside. A new socialist president, she stepped in, but she's more communist, she's completely globalist. Climate change, protect the world, all this crap, which won't go over real well, by the way, if they want to be in the BRICS. But having said that, do you know how many assassinations occurred in Mexico for that election cycle that just passed? How many could it be? Not just attempts, but actual assassinations. Dozens, folks, dozens. Not one, not two, dozens of successful assassinations of various people throughout the political arena. What we witnessed was something earth-shaking for America. Hasn't been seen in decades, not since the early Reagan administration, and of course the end of the JFK administration. And prior to that, not for over half a century. But yeah, that's what politics is, folks. It's power. It's worth fighting for. It's worth dying for. It's worth living for. It's worth screwing everyone over to get. It's not clean. It's not fair. It's not nice. Everyone wants to pretend it is, though. They want to be asleep. They want to be asleep. Right now in Washington, D.C., there is panic. Panic beyond imagination because of power. Imagine if it's worth killing 25, 30, 35 people in Mexico to control Mexico and its economy and its resources. Imagine if that's worth killing that many people for. How many people is controlling America worth killing for? One presidential candidate? Well, that'll get you a lot, especially when it's a Trump. There's no reason to kill the other candidates. They're all sellouts. So while everyone's sleeping and pretending that everything is nice, while they were sleeping, the world has slipped into this dystopian bizarro world where the biggest buffoons and clowns are the ones with authority, it is shocking. It's totally shocking. Kamala is terrified of having to debate J.D. Vance, Trump's VP nominee. The Democrats are panicking because they know Joe cannot debate. They don't have an answer. They don't have a solution. It is now starting to come out in the wash. The amount of information that was provided and is being provided by witnesses on the ground in Pennsylvania from the site where Trump assassination was attempted. And the information coming out is not clarifying the government's position and fortifying it, much like the problems with the rest of the Biden administration. The more they're examined, the more quickly they fall apart. Absolutely fall apart. The more they say conspiracy theory, the more other people come out and corroborate the truth. This was an assassination attempt. And the horribly wrong part of it was that they actually missed. Because if they had hit Trump, if that shot had been 1 inch more to the right, definitely 2 or 3, that would have changed it. That would have been it. Our world would be dramatically different. The powers that be that want to control the United States of America absolutely would have gotten everything they needed with one single assassination. Doesn't take 30 or 40 like it does in some smaller countries where I guess people are dime a dozen and easily replaced. You can't replace Trump, and they know it. They failed, though. They failed while we were sleeping. All of these machinations in the background, the hand-wringing, the worrying. It's not a movie. It's not acting. It's not a television show. It's a real power struggle. And Americans have been waking up for years now going, what is going on? What is going on? And they're coming out of their sleep and looking around. And they're seeing a world that doesn't make any sense. Right? How can a country hate itself? How can its own people hate themselves and their country? How can they allow the destruction of children, the destruction of the military, and the destruction of our highways, roads, infrastructure? How can they allow a justice system that is so unjust that right, it's almost a mirror reflection of banana republics? In fact, indeed it is. A struggle between intelligence and idiocy. People are waking up to that. And I'm glad they're waking up to it and seeing it for what it is. This needs to happen. And it's happening. People are waking up and realizing exactly how much peril we are in. Do you see it? You know, we've been calling for people to be prepared for years, and I'm still making that call. It's as serious as ever, if not more so. After the assassination attempt, people are seeing exactly how quickly things can change. And that's amazing, the difference between sleeping and waking. You know, resting comfortably, all snuggled up, right? Asleep. Little dreams in our heads of things that we like and want, and our little brain trying to give them to us. Sleeping. Right? It's all a big fantasy. And then you're startled awake. Reality hits you, right? Just like this morning, you wake up and you're like, oh man, I'm awake. Right? The world is hard. The world is harsh. Everything hurts. Right? It's a rough deal. Waking up and remembering reality. People are doing it and they're not liking it. So help them wake up, help them get prepared. You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You need all these things. Everyone does. Everyone needs them because things can change in an instant. Things can change instantly. Just like that. 1 second, everything feels relatively normal, operational. The next minute, a bullet whizzes by a very important person's head. And if it had hit his head, that had been the end of it right there. The feelings are genuine of people saying, dang, don't miss. Their feelings of disappointment because they want what they want. And in the real world, folks, power, wealth, control, that's way more important than silly things like freedom and liberty. They are definitely capable of and willing to kill. Whereas we, to protect our liberties, we won't fight back until things are so bad that people just cannot tolerate it. Right? It's a more of a defensive fighting back, but they want to call that terrorism. While they attack us and assassinate their opponents, and they call that fair game. You see, that's how they do it. If you fight back, you're a terrorist. If they attack us, assassinate, make shady deals, sell us out, fuck us over, send our money around the world into their private accounts, they call that good business. I call it treason. While we were asleep, folks, while we were asleep, a lot has been happening. Welcome to the sunrise, right? Time to open our eyes, get prepared, and be prepared for what they are willing to do. God bless America. I'll see you guys tonight for the late broadcast.